Come on, be a drill sergeant.
I don't want to scare him. Okay.
Excuse me, can everyone be quiet for a second, please? Hello.
Yeah, okay. Have your attention, please. Can I have your attention, please? Hello? Can I have your attention, please? Could you please put your cell phones on silent? Cell phones on silent, please. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. This Circuit Court of the 11th Judicial Circuit in and for Miami-Dade County is now in session. The Honorable Judge Nugent Safety presiding. All persons having business before this court, come nigh and you shall be heard. God save the United States of America and this honorable court.
Thank you very much, Larry Chester. Not bad for his first as Chief Bailiff. Good afternoon, family, friends, guests here and out there on YouTube and in the overflow courtrooms, and to all of our virtual guests. Welcome to this investiture of the Honorable Jeffrey Kolokoff as County Court Judge of the 11th Judicial Circuit. Please remain standing as we ask a very special guest, Judge Kolokoff's daughter Abigail, age 7, to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Hi, Abigail.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Abigail, that was perfect. You tell your teachers you get an A. And now, as we please continue to remain standing, I would like to welcome someone who really needs no introduction. My forever chief, our Chief Judge Emeritus, or Emeritus, Emerita, whatever, Bertila Soto for the invocation.
Good afternoon. First, good luck, Noosh, on your first. I feel no stress. This is awesome. And Jeff, thank you so much for asking me to do the invocation. I don't know if all of you know, but Jeff was in my division for a long time and has been a great friend, and I actually performed his wedding ceremony to his lovely wife. So I love being part of your life, and thank you so much. Let us bow our heads. As we stand together, let us be grateful that we are all celebrating Judge Kolokoff in person today, after so many months of isolation. How fortuitous are we to be among our friends, our colleagues, and family. May we be thankful for our health, our friendships, and of course, family. And may we have the strength to face our challenges and be thankful for the things we have. And may we always be mindful of those who are not as fortunate. Let us give thanks for Judge Kolokoff's beautiful wife and his 3 beautiful children who are talking with me and cheering me on. Thank you for his family and friends. He has been blessed with so many people that love him and admire him. May you continue to enjoy the gift of your family and your friends, and may you always be the incredible husband, son, friend, and father we all know you are. We ask for Judge Kolokoff that he continue to work as a fair and just judge. We ask that he continue to show respect and kindness to all of those that come before him. Give him the strength and wisdom to preside over the cases, no matter how small or how difficult. And we thank you for his successes and triumphs, and we look forward to seeing his many accomplishments to come. May God bless you always. Amen.
Thank you, Chief. Everyone, please be seated. On this very special day, we have some very special guests who have joined us. I'm going to ask that they please stand as I call their names so they can be recognized. I'm ripping off Bertie Soto's script. And in Bertie Soto's script, she would ask you all to not applaud until the end. And inevitably, we would all applaud after each name. And I think I was probably usually a bad offender and probably let out a woo-woo every now and then, too. So I feel bad asking you not to applaud after each name, but I will ask you if you can, please. But I know that each one of these people deserves big applause in and of themselves. First, we have some very special judges that have rejoined our family. And first is Judge Bronwyn Miller from the 3rd District Court of Appeals. Judge Fleur Labrie, also from the 3rd District Court of Appeals. Judge Lindsay is on my list, but I don't know if she's here. She might be out there. If she's out there, good to see you, Judge Lindsay. Retired judge from the 3rd District Court of Appeals, Frank Shepard. We have Commissioner Sally Hayman from the Miami-Dade County Commissioners. We have, I believe, Chris Knight, President of ABOTA, and he might be out there. Hi, Chris. And Kevin Hellman, also appearing virtually, he's the President of the Florida Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers. PJ Mitchell. PJ, I think, is here. There he is. PJ Mitchell, former public defender. Got to throw that out there because I was his training attorney, I think. President of the Coral Gables Bar Association. We have Alina Garcia on behalf of Commissioner Joe Carroyo. Ms. Garcia, thank you. We have Vicky Mendez, who's here via technology, the city attorney from the city of Miami. And Lara Dobdob from the incoming treasurer for the Caribbean Bar Association. Sabrina Puglisi, who's going to be introduced to you better in a few minutes, Miami-Dade Bar president. Hayden O'Byrne, president of the Federal Society. I don't know if I saw Hayden. There he is, hiding behind the mask. Marianne Ruiz, chair of the Florida Association of Women Lawyers, Miami-Dade chapter. Marianne. And Michelle Saskauer, past president of the Florida Bar. And also Richard Cooper. Is Richard Cooper here? I don't know if I saw him, but Richard's probably out there. Executive director of Miami-Dade League of Cities and a wonderful friend of the courts. All right, also, at this time, I would love to invite who you just met, friend of Miami, even though she's from Palm Beach, but she's a Miami-Dade practitioner often, and former president of the Florida Bar, Michelle Saskauer.
Good afternoon, everyone. Chief Judge Safey, it's great to say that. Esteemed members of the bench, family and friends of Judge Kolokoff, on behalf of President Michael Tanner, the Board of Governors, and the over 110,000 members, it is my honor to represent the Florida Bar. So this is the first investiture, other than Judge Safey's, since the pandemic began, and I am so happy to be here today and to see all of you. I really missed everyone. And I know we're so happy to have the opportunity to be together and to celebrate a truly wonderful guy, a gentleman, a father of 3 beautiful children, and a real mensch, Jeff Kolokoff. Now, this last year and a half has been pretty crazy, to say the least. Difficult, strange, frustrating on us personally, professionally. Our circles got smaller. In-person events were non-existent. We had to figure out how to work remotely and try to be effective, and masks weren't just for Halloween. And today is a wonderful reminder that we are a community, one that supports each other, and that we're moving forward. And our judges and our courts give people the confidence that our institutions are still safe places, that we can count on them like we always have. And Judge Kolokoff works hard to make that happen. He is truly dedicated to serving the public, to making the world a more just and righteous place. I mean, he's really dedicated to his job. 3 weeks before his youngest was born, his wife, Emily, went in for a routine doctor's visit, but was told to go to the hospital to get checked out. When she got there, she was told that the baby was definitely coming that day, 3 weeks early. So she texted her husband to let him know that she was in the hospital, and he texted back, "On the bench." Really? Clearly, he wasn't getting it. She told him that the baby was coming, like immediately, AKA, get over here now. And as much as he's a dedicated dad, he is a dedicated judge. So what did he do? He actually finished his jail arraignments calendar and then went to the hospital. With just a few minutes to spare, he was there to welcome new baby Isaac, who is here today. Oh my God, can you imagine if he didn't make it? Judge, you have joined a very special bench filled with some of the best and brightest in Florida, a wonderful community that offers their assistance, their guidance, and mentorship because they all want you to succeed. Embrace them. Continue to make us all proud each and every day. Mazel tov.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Some more introductions. People, again, that probably need no introduction, but are so special to us on the judiciary. To my left, Carlos Martinez, our public defender. Catherine Fernandez-Rundle, our state attorney. And Judge Kolokoff's former boss. On behalf of Jean Zenobia, our regional counsels, Annette Gomez, I'm sorry. I saw Annette Perez's face here before. And out there in virtual world is our clerk of courts, Harvey Rubin, who's our partner daily in all the divisions. Thank you, Harvey. And finally, I would like to say a few words about the people who support our day-to-day court operations with their expertise, their wisdom, and they just do everything and make the judiciary exist, and they make us possible. First, Sandy Lonergan, our trial court administrator. Pat Gladson, our general counsel. I have to give a big shout out to Eunice Ziegler, who's running around somewhere with, frantically. I call her the wedding coordinator of the investitures. And Marissa Gavica, who we could not do this without them. And our incredible team, our IT team, who's made all these virtual events possible. Everyone thinks in this day and age it should be easy to do, but with court technology being a little bit behind, the fact that we've been able to put these on YouTube is amazing. It's a treasure, and thank you to our sites folks and our AV team for doing such an incredible job. And now for remarks on behalf of the Miami-Dade Bar Association, we have the president and also a former REG practitioner, former public defender, Sabrina Polisi.
Woohoo. Thank you, Chief Judge Safie, Judge Kolokoff, judges, friends, and family. Kind, welcoming, loyal, humorous, intelligent, always open and interested in getting feedback, devoted family man. These are but a few of the adjectives that describe Judge Jeffrey Kolokoff. It would be easy for me to stand up here and go through his resume and the impressive things that he's done in his life, but I think the true measure of a person is speaking to those people that know him the best. And so I asked 4 people that have intersected in his life. Started with Jorge Gateno, his childhood friend. He speaks, because they've known each other since pre-K, he says, Jeff is down to earth, smart, a strong-willed person, and a devoted family man who is extremely loyal to those around him. I then spoke to his fraternity brother in college, John Maloney, and don't worry, Judge, he kept it PG. And he describes the first time that he met Jeffrey Kolokoff. He says that he remembers walking into the fraternity house and, he was trying to get his bearings. And at that moment, he was grabbed into a big bear hug, lifted off the ground. The person had such a joyous smile and yelled, "Brother." And they have been brothers ever since. He says, the judge's humor is something that I noticed in my conversations with him, and it has served him well. Even back in college, he had a knack for finding a way to effectively relate to people. His gregariousness and humor are believed to be one of the reasons he was selected as kitchen manager for their fraternity. He says, anyone who has ever been responsible for feeding 25 to 30 college men 3 meals per day can attest to the need to maintain good humor and cut through the excuses to achieve results. And after he decided to follow a career in the law, I spoke to his supervisor, Marie Mato, who all of us in the REG building know well, and she said what first struck her and most people is he seemed so serious. But then after getting to know him, you really got to see that he has such a wonderful sense of humor. He's kind, he's relatable, he's open to feedback, he was very responsible, and she especially remembers a handwritten note that he sent to her thanking her for her time. And Judge, she still has that note to this day. So some might think that once you become a judge, those great personality traits, maybe they go. But that is not the case for Judge Kolokoff. I spoke to his colleague and friend, Judge Robin Faber, and he talks about times that Judge Kolokoff comes to his office. Now, he might have said like a stalker, but he did say Judge Kolokoff is smart and savvy. He will not make assumptions about any issue, but he will challenge you to defend your argument and position. His calm demeanor hides a man that is passionate about his role, one who challenges himself every day to be the best judge he is capable of being. And I think more than anything that he has accomplished in his life, he is a devoted family man to his wife and his children. And that is the true measure of a man. And so these are wonderful qualities for a judge. And I, on behalf of the Miami-Dade Bar Association as president, am honored to be able to bestow this Torah to Judge Jeffrey Kolokoff. The citizens of Miami-Dade County are so very lucky to have you on the bench.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. We have a plaque here as a gift to Judge Kolokoff on behalf of the Conference of County Court Judges. All the judges out there know it. We all want one. We're also happy to have it. And this, I'm not going to, with supply chain issues and all those tankers you see out there, we got this like this morning. So I've been sending emails all week like, how do you get the plaque? Where's the plaque? And it's here, and this is for you for your desk. And now for personal remarks on behalf of the judge's family and friends, we have Jorge Gateno, who we just heard has known him since, I don't know, very, very long time, over 35 years it says here. I have to just point out that Judge Kolokoff's handwriting is so terrible that when I got the worksheet, I'm like, we can't do this with the handwriting, and I have bad handwriting, so for me to say this is, I had written your name down, and it was like, it was like cat nose or something like that, and then I'm like, what is this name? Can someone please decipher it? And so now that's the only reason I'm pronouncing it properly right now. So welcome, Mr. Gateno, and thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is George, Jorge, go by both. When Jeff asked me to talk, I really didn't know much about what to say. I was just told, keep it PG, share some stories. So really just want to talk just a couple of words about Jeff. And really just share a couple of stories that we've had over the years. I'm honored to call him one of my best friends and the brother I've ever had. As it's been mentioned, I've known Jeff since pre-kindergarten. I think I've known Jeff more than pretty much anybody in my family other than my mom and maybe my grandparents. And it's been quite an interesting ride. Jeff is one of the most loyal people that I know and always willing to go above and beyond for his friends and family. I think some of the remarks before me also show that. I remember back in our college days, Jeff would always entertain our crazy ideas. One of our other college friends, Angel, is here also. Everything from scavenger hunts throughout the state just because we were bored, to random 1-hour drives to Waffle House in Davie in the middle of the night because we were hungry and craving the hash browns at Waffle House, and we didn't have one in Miami, so what did we do? We just drove up to Fort Lauderdale. So a couple years back, before Jeff and Emily had kids, we went on a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Israel, which resulted in me almost getting thrown off a mountain by Jeff. So I don't know if many of you are familiar with the Middle East, but during summer, it tends to be just a little bit warm. For those who are familiar with Israel, we decided to hike up Masada, which is supposed to be one of the most spiritual hikes. You do it early morning. I think you start at 5 in the morning. It's supposed to be before 3 in the morning. Sorry, Emily, 3 in the morning. It's supposed to be before it gets really hot because it does tend to get over 120 degrees out there. Needless to say, it was a little bit warm that day. So as we started hiking up, it's supposed to take about an hour and 15 minutes. Emily decided to say, you guys are going a little too slow for my taste. I want to see the sunrise from above. So I'm going to leave you guys. So I'm walking with Jeff, and as I started, as we're about 3/4 of the way up, I started seeing this reaction in his face that I've never really seen before, and I started to get a little bit scared. Had to basically keep a good 2 or 3 feet away from Jeff because I genuinely swear that if he would have been able to get his hands on me, he would have thrown me off that mountain. Needless to say, it really was a once-in-a-lifetime trip. I don't think he's ever going to hike Masada again, but he was definitely a great sport about it. After Jeff and Emily started an amazing family, the strongest and best parts of his characteristics started shining even brighter. I've seen him become an amazing father who would do anything for his family and especially his children. A couple years back, before the pandemic, after Abby and Jacob were born, Matt, his brother, myself, we decided we wanted to go out to Japan. And right after we landed, a couple hours after, Jeff started feeling ill. Matt and I were kind of looking at each other, and we started looking for clinics. We started kind of freaking out. Needless to say, everything was okay, but really what it was is Jeff really missed being away from his family, from his kids, from his newborn, and just that attachment that he had, and he really had become an amazing family man. I'm so proud of Jeff for everything that he's accomplished throughout his life. I know that becoming a judge is a major milestone in his career, and I'm positive that he's going to do an amazing job treating those around him with compassion, fairness, and an open mind while trying to make a difference. Congrats, Jeff.
Thank you so much, George. And now for further personal remarks on behalf of the judge's family and friends, we have Emily Bradford Kolokoff, the judge's wife, dear friend, super lawyer, which it was really sweet because he put that. He wanted us to make sure we knew that. So you are a super lawyer. I feel like we should just devote this whole event to you because the fact that he ditched you at the hospital. As a mother of 3 kids, I'm picturing all the women in the room. All we heard was the text that said on the bench. Yeah. We're never going to look at Kolokoff the same way again. So welcome, Emily.
Thank you. The Masada story, all true. It's kind of amazing everybody made it back alive. All right.
Including me.
Yes. I'm sorry, it's a little nerve-wracking looking this way. I like to argue the other direction. All right. Thank you, Madam Chief Judge, Madam Former Chief Judge, all of our friends, family that have come to celebrate Jeff today. We really appreciate you guys taking time out of your schedules, and it's really an honor. So when Jeff asked me to speak, I started jotting down some notes of things that I might say. Some really good stuff. And then at an event a couple of weeks ago, Judge Janowitz told me that I had to keep my remarks dignified. So I pulled out my red pen and I began striking through pretty much everything. So, started over again, but for those of you who want the good stories, see me after. So I'm going to talk to you today for a couple of minutes about Jeff's 3 true loves. For those of you who think I'm about to talk about our children, you're wrong. He loves those kids dearly, but we're going to go back a little further in time. I have known Jeff since the very first day of law school orientation. We met at Mercer University, and we were in the same small section at Mercer, and they were small. We had 15 people in our section. So we got to know each other very, very well that first year of law school. Right from the very beginning, it was clear that Jeff had an absolute love for the law. He was good at it. It came naturally to him. And he didn't just like it or enjoy it. He loved it. That's still true today. He was the guy who would come into class, didn't have any notes in front of him, didn't even bring his computer. We were the first class that really brought laptops to class. But not Jeff. He'd walk in with a blank pad of paper and a pen and would just sit there and listen. And when called upon, always had something insightful to say. So part of the way through this first semester, I started thinking, this guy kind of gets it. Maybe he's who I should call when I'm struggling with some of these readings. So on Sunday afternoons, as most of our class would do, we'd start to prepare our reading for the week. And I would call Jeff if I was struggling with a concept. And he would, again, have something insightful and brilliant to say that made it all make sense. But I could always hear the TV on behind him on Sundays. So I inquired about this. How does a 1L have time to watch television? Well, that's because Jeff's second love after the law was playing on Sunday afternoon. The Miami Dolphins. Sundays were game days. But he always took the time to help me with whatever the concepts were that we were studying in criminal law, in con law, whatever it might be. So after the first semester, we made it through finals. Most of us came back for second semester. We thought, all right, it was so much fun, let's do this again. After the first few weeks of second semester, the Super Bowl had been played. Spoiler alert, the Dolphins did not win. I would again call Jeff, and I could always hear that TV on behind him. I couldn't figure it out because the Dolphins were done. But you see, spring semester is Jeff's third true love, the Miami Heat. So as school progressed and we did make it through those 3 years, Jeff did it balancing all three loves, law, Dolphins, and Heat. And in fact, he made sure that not only did he balance it, he excelled, graduating into the very top of our class, making the law review, being an outstanding student. When we moved to Miami, we studied for the bar exam. Well, 2006 was the year we studied for the exam, and for those of you that are Heat fans, you know that was kind of a big year for the Heat. And bar prep got in the way of the NBA Finals schedule. It's like nobody consulted with you about what was going on. How dare they? Well, George was there for every minute of it. The gentleman made sure they went to all of the home games. The rest of us were in the UM library doing our flashcards, frantically trying to cram for the bar exam. And Jeff had done what he needed to do because he was such a natural at this and said, well, I'm going to go watch the game now. It's a good thing there was no Game 7 that year, that the Heat took it in 6, because Jeff and George had tickets booked to Dallas 3 weeks before we sat for the bar exam. Once Jeff started his legal career, it was in this building. He always knew he was going to have a career in public service. He committed our 3L year that he was going to come and work for the state attorney. And he loved it. He loved being in a courtroom. He loved being able to try cases. But what he made sure of was that no matter what sports were on, he was prepared every time he walked into this courtroom. He made sure that if he had 50 cases set for trial on Monday morning, he was ready. He knew every one of those cases. And he did it by working 13 days in a row, every single 2-week period. The only day that he would take off was Sunday, because every 2 weeks, the Dolphins play at home. The day that Jeff got this call from Tallahassee, letting him know that he was going to become one of Miami-Dade's newest judges, he was over the moon. His love of the law is part of what makes him a great judge and what's going to carry him so far on this path. Jeff's ability to combine his three great loves is really evident if you walk into his chambers. And for those of you that haven't been yet, go check it out. It's kind of a shrine to all sorts of things. Maybe he's trying to compete with somebody else's shrine to a certain school. But Jeff is in this building nonstop, working as hard as he can, trying to make sure that he can be the absolute best judge that he can be. So, Jeff, I know the Dolphins might not be making you proud right now, but I will tell you, you have made us extremely proud. Your dad would be so proud of you. So, I'll leave you with this note. It's no coincidence that today is the day Jeff picked for his investiture. Was it because he wanted to be the first of live investiture? No. Tonight's the Heat opening night. And our sweet daughter has something she would like to say.
Daddy, on behalf of my brothers and I, we are very proud of you and we love you. But at home, we're still going to call you Daddy, not Judge Daddy.
Thank you.
Well done. I think the measure of all good speeches and all good investitures is a little bit of laugh and a little bit of crying. So Emily and Abigail, well done. And now for the oath of office and robing, I'd like to ask, again, our former colleague and 3rd DCA Judge Brahma Miller, if she could step down and join Judge Kolokoff and his family for the robing. So welcome again, Emily Bradford Kolokoff and Abigail, who's again age 7, as well as Jacob, who's 3. And I don't know if Isaac is joining us. Is Isaac going to make it for this one? He's sleeping, 15 months. Matthew Kolokoff, Judge Kolokoff's brother. Robin Sosnow, who's Judge Kolokoff's cousin. And John and Cheryl Bradford, the in-laws. Good move, Judge Kolokoff.
Madam Chief Judge.
Well done.
Madam Chief Judge, it's truly an honor to be here to swear in Judge Kolokoff. May I exercise a point of personal privilege?
Yes, you may.
Thank you, Madam Chief Judge. Good afternoon, colleagues and guests. It is truly an honor to be here today to administer the oath for Judge Kolokoff. By now, you have all heard that Jeff personifies the very qualities we seek in our judicial officers. He exhibits an exemplary work ethic. Indeed, from his time spent in private practice, he has demonstrated he is the first to arrive, last to leave, and he is constantly dedicated to interpreting, clarifying, and even-handedly applying the law. What a cutie. As all of you know by now, Jeff is highly intelligent. One only need to learn that he eschewed the obligatory degree in political science, instead obtaining a degree in economics, and his diploma say magna cum laude, to know that he's smart. He's committed to public service. He walked these very hallways as a prosecutor, quickly rising through the ranks. And despite a successful career in private practice, this is where I'm supposed to plug my husband's law firm, at the Loudon firm of Beakley, Myrick, and Udall and Lynn, he chose to return to the public sector to give back. Despite his many magnificent achievements, the journey to the bench was not easy and required both perseverance and humility. These two qualities are just small components of Jeff's personality. And they are also two of the traits that define the well-known Yiddish word, already referred to by my esteemed colleague, mensch. Judge Soto, of course, says you have to say anything 3 times for people to remember anyway, so it's not a repeat. Other traits that come to mind when defining Jeff are integrity, morality, dignity, self-restraint, and a sense of what is right and responsible. As he stands before us, soon to don the black robe, Jeff is already robed in strength, dignity, and kindness. So as we share in this time-honored robing tradition initiated by Chief Justice Marshall in 1801, let us reflect upon the generosity of our universe in giving our community the talent, industriousness, and perseverity of Jeff Kolokoff. I will now administer the oath. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jeff Kolokoff,
Jeffrey Kolokoff,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the government of the United States
and the government of the United States
and the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
and I am duly qualified
and I am duly qualified
to hold office
to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
perform the duties
perform the duties
of County Court Judge
of County Court Judge
on which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Everyone, please be seated.
I love your firm.
Judge Kolokoff, you're up.
Well, with all the fantastic things said about me, I may as well just sit down. I want to thank everyone for coming, both here in person and virtually. I'm honored to be the first judge invested in this courthouse. Now, Jim Morrison was tried in this room. For those of you over there who don't know who Jim Morrison is, Jim Morrison was the lead singer of The Doors, and in 1970, he exposed himself at a concert on Dinner Key and was tried right here in this courtroom. Well, he allegedly exposed himself. Yeah. And I'm so excited that we could break on through to the other side of a global pandemic. That's the lyric to a song, guys. This section over here is the assigned public defenders in my courtroom, and Mr. Martinez has been kind enough to assign half the office to my courtroom, so they're all here. So my history in this building, as you've heard, is a long one. It starts in 2005 when I came down back to Miami to interview with Ms. Rundle. And Ms. Rundle was running a few minutes behind, so So I was sent over to this building, and I was directed to courtroom 4-7. This is in 2005, Bertie. So you might remember you were down there. So I walked in the door, and Judge Bertie Soto was there, and going through the calendar. And then a few minutes later, it was time for me to go interview with Ms. Rundle, and she asked me some really hard-hitting questions like, can you afford to live on $38,000 a year? To which I assured her that I could, and that I wouldn't have been here if I couldn't. Remember, I'm a lifelong Floridian. I spent my whole life in Miami, except for the 5 days that I spent in Winter Haven when I was born. So I know how expensive it is, and it's gotten a lot more expensive since then, because all the tech people are coming here buying up all the real estate. So along the way, I've done a lot of things. On September 25th of 2006, I was sworn in courtroom 6-8, 2 floors above us. And then on September 24th, 2015, I presided over courtroom 6-8. Along the way, I've been threatened to be thrown in jail by Tony Arzola in courtroom 5-1. I've tried some very serious cases. Before Bertie, actually, armed home invasion, we tried a case. And actually, Judge Ruiz was trial counsel on that as well. So, and then I've tried some other cases, too, before some significant judges, like the one sitting next to me, because I was assigned to Nushin's division after I was assigned to Bertie's division. So I had the opportunity to practice for both of these fantastic judges. But then, after I left the state attorney's office, after spending 3 years in a really windowless room before 2 secured doors, where no one saw me, and I don't think anyone knew I actually worked there still, investigating white-collar crimes, I decided to leave. And I went to work for Maury. And Maury, thank you so much for hiring me. I mean, I know I work cheap, but still. No, and I spent the next 7.5 years learning the art of civil litigation and practicing for some of the great judges in this county and in Broward County and in Palm Beach County. And figuring out what it was to be a real lawyer. You know, getting ready to go to trial and then not going. And so much so that one of my cases was tried by Judge Janowitz recently, from 2007. So anyway, a few months later, I got a jury summons, and it said, show up to the Gerstein building. So I showed up and watched a Sandra Bullock movie, and one they're still playing upstairs, I think. And ultimately, I was called down to a panel and sat on a jury before Fred Serafin, who's not here, but I know he's here in spirit, and was a juror, and was a 4-person, but shocking. We're getting there. We're getting there, Nish, okay? We're getting there. It's on the sheet, okay? All right. So I knew everyone on the case. I knew the judge. I knew the prosecutors. I knew the defense attorney. I knew the police officers. I knew the bailiff. I knew the clerk. I knew everyone, right? Except for the defendant, who I'd never seen in my life. And we had a trial, and then his son was his alibi witness. And his son testified and was completely unbelievable. So, needless to say, it was a conviction. But the defense attorney told me he knew I'd be fair, and that's why he put me on the jury, because he knew I'd be fair and didn't know about the guy next to me. So that's another experience in this building that I've had. So you heard Bertie say that she officiated Emily's and my wedding. Well, this is a lot like my wedding. Almost all the same people are here. Emily looks stunning. Bertie was praying for us. And I'm wearing black. There are so many people I want to thank that have carried me throughout this journey of being a prosecutor, a civil litigator, a judicial nominee, and ultimately a judge. I'm going to forget some people, so I'm sorry about that, and I'm doing my best. Okay? Because there's so many people I don't remember, because there are so many people. And I feel like this is an Oscar speech, but I'd like to thank the governor, the former general counsel, Joe Jaco. Quick story about Joe Jaco. Joe Jaco called me on April 21st of 2020, 18 months ago, about almost to the minute. It's about 10 minutes, 1:10 or so I got a call. And it was a strange number from Jacksonville. I don't really know anyone in Jacksonville. So I picked up the phone and I said, hello. And Joe said, hi, this is Joe Jaco. I wanted to congratulate you on behalf of the governor of being appointed as county court judge. And you did a great interview, and we really like your credentials and all these things. And I remember thinking in the back of my head, were you at the same interview I was at? Anyway, I said, well, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it, and I won't let you down. I hung up the phone and then immediately Googled the number to make sure that it was actually Joe Jaco. And then the next day, of course, I got an email from the governor's office that said, thank you for applying, but we chose someone else. Now, fortunately, the email did have a press release attached that had my name on it. So I figured out that it was an error, and I know Carlos and Scott can attest to the same thing, because I think the same thing happened to all three of us. I want to thank Ambassador Carlos Trujillo, Senator Jason Pizzo, with whom our hearts are with. He's mourning the death of his father. County Commissioners Keone McGee and Sally Heyman. Sally, thank you for being here. JNC chairs and former chairs Hayden O'Byrne, Walter Harvey, Robert Fernandez, and Miranda Soto. JNC members Bob Pardo, Scott Diamond, George Mestry, and everyone else who serves on the JNC and takes the time to vet and nominate qualified judicial candidates. Frankly, anyone who's ever applied to be a judicial nominee. It is an arduous process. And they just changed the application to make it even harder, so I can't take the old one anymore. So, retired Judge Frank Shepard, thank you for being here, Frank, and for everything you've done for me. My friends, Judge Robert Watson, Gina Beavitas, Frank Leday, Tabitha Blackman, Dan Cantor, Hunter Davis, Scott Bernstein, David Young, Joe Perkins, Jason Demetrius, Lodi Jean, and everyone else who's here. Thank you very much. My judicial triplets, I talked about them a minute ago, Scott Janowitz and Carlos Gamas. We were appointed on the same day and had the same experiences. My colleagues in the County Criminal Division, many of whom are here, including my tag team partner, Christina Correa. Thanks for coming in. I know you were covering a calendar, but good job. Jefferson Knight, Phil Fender, Hayes Wood, Jordan Dresnick, Bob Allen, Bradford Cohen, Peter Abraham, Joey Van de Bogart, Manny Farach, William Hill, George Mafood, Kansas Good, and Carol Lumpkin. My friends and mentors at the State Attorney's Office, Marie Mato, Kat Cortez, Rachel Walters, the late Pat Tracy, David Sherman, amongst others. Maureen Bronwyn, your advice and counsel has been invaluable. I sincerely appreciate everything you've done for me. My entire SAO family, many of whom are here. And Timonovich just walked in. It was really nice. Every lawyer I've ever opposed or co-counseled with, you make me a better lawyer, and I am supremely grateful for that. All the lawyers who have appeared before me, you make me a better judge, and occasionally teach me something. My assistants, paralegals, law clerks throughout the way, especially Johnny Stats, who's not here, but he's here. He's here on virtually. All our court staff, Nushin mentioned the court staff, AOC, our interpreters, our corrections officers, our corrections techs, the IT folks, the janitorial staff, everything that makes this place work. Thank you so much. Lizbeth and Omar. Lizbeth is my assistant. She's here somewhere. He was here. Oh, there you are. How does Ben? And Omar, the hardest working guy in the business. Omar has been my bailiff. Omar has been with me for 9 years. And he's been a bailiff for the last 18 months. Fantastic. And I'm so appreciative he's here. He's one of the hardest working I know and incredibly loyal. So thank you, Omar. I'm going to move on, come back. My kids who have gone downstairs. If you're watching on the virtual and you can figure out how to hack the computer, you're the reason I get up in the morning. Jack is literally the reason I get up in the morning. Because he doesn't quite understand indoor voice, walking quietly, or doing anything subtly. So. But I spend every day trying to make your life better. In 1987, my dad was shot and paralyzed. And it's a life-changing event. And it was 34 years ago next week. And he was paralyzed for 30 years. And he never complained about paralyzed. He never asked, why me? He just got up and went to work and kept on trucking. Because he had a family support. He had young children, happened to be 3 young children. And you got to keep going. And that's what he did. And he instilled upon me a work ethic that his work ethic was second to none. It took him 3 hours to get ready in the morning. It would take some of us 10, 15 minutes. Kira, I know it takes you longer. That hair must take a while. But just to get up in the morning and get going and go to work. And he was very successful as a stockbroker. He told me never to be a stockbroker. And of course, when I graduated from college, I became a stockbroker. I wasn't as good as he was, otherwise I wouldn't be here. But that work ethic is something I hold with me every day. And it's all because of him. And I know he'd be proud that I was here. So I would thank him for that. And now Emily. Y'all heard from Emily. She's a fantastic lawyer, by the way. Absolutely fantastic. And as some of my friends pointed out, yes, I married a divorce lawyer. And she was a divorce lawyer when we got married. But my rock, you took this pandemic by the horns. You were 7 months pregnant. We weren't going anywhere. You were locked in your room. We've had our office was transformed into a nursery. We had virtual school. And you saw Jack having a 3-year-old in virtual school. I don't know how you did it. I really don't. And you've been a super mom. You were taking care of the family, taking care of the house. You were 7 months pregnant, and taking care of all of us, just like you've done for the last 10 years we've been married, and for the 18 years we've been together. So, I love you. I look forward to the rest of our lives. I again want to thank everyone for being here and allowing me to serve as a judge of this great community. I hope I can leave it better than when I found it for my family and for all of yours. Thank you very much.
Judge Kolokoff, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our Miami bench. Belated 18 months, but welcome. And you did a beautiful job, and thank you for sharing your family and your beautiful story with us. As many of you know, it's been said, it's my first investiture as Chief Judge. Not bad. I saw Jeff a couple weeks ago at an event, and I had already begun working with Eunice and Marissa on this program, and I hadn't seen him in person, I don't think, in a while, and I walked up to him like, hey, Jeff, you're going to be my first, your investiture's coming up, and in his deadpan sense of humor that's been discussed, velvety game show host voiced, he's like, Nushin, you always remember your first. Now I feel bad that Janowitz told Emily she had to be so dignified, because clearly I've brought that bar down a bit. But I actually said to him immediately, oh my God, I'm totally putting that in my speech. But I'm very lucky that this first one is someone that I actually know personally, because Jeff, as you heard, was the beat prosecutor assigned to me when I was a division judge in this building. And in addition to the smooth jazz voice, I don't know why more people didn't talk about that, because the first day that he was in my courtroom and I heard the voice, I was like, it was like jarring. I was looking around for, Barry White or someone like that. But as most of us know, like a voice like that in a lawyer is pretty amazing. It's a pretty good tool to have. And I think that he always conducted himself with just dignity and respect, and, the smooth jazz demeanor as well. And I think that's something that he's definitely brought to the bench with him. So no doubt you're going to make your dad proud. You already have. And we're so happy to have you here with us. So folks, we're going to be in recess, but before I let you all go, for those of you that would like to greet the judge and his family, we have in this new courtroom that we're not usually normally using, but I think feels like home for me and Jeff. If you all want to come down, Judge Kolokoff's going to be over here, and you're going to go out this hidden back door that some of you may not be able to see. If you are not a judge, you're going to go out to the right. There might be furniture pulled out of the courtroom and in the hallways. Please avoid the furniture and don't get hurt. And everyone else, the judges, you're going to be going to the left. And with that, court is adjourned. Thank you all so much for being here. Your wife's adorable. Hey.